Good morning. Let me get a 5x5. You can hear me. Yes, we are way ahead of schedule because I said I'd go live when John was finished, and he's finished. So there's that. So if you're here, good morning. Who we got? You two keep shadow banning Jack. Yes. Hey, how you doing? McBean Scottish Fitness. Good morning. He's going to get back on his walk and be like, son of a bitch, he started early. Yeah. Or, hey, it's on. Yes, that fast, huh? Yeah. That's why I said I'd go on when John was done. He got done a lot faster than I thought. Thought it was going to be a live stream for him today, and it wasn't. But good morning, everybody. Of course, as usual, this is just a work of art, a work of fiction, and any similarity to reality or true events or the truth is simply a coincidence. So there's that. Good morning, Kevin Ramsey, Black Cat Whirly Gig, Brian Burrs, Outlaw Farm, Sherry Bogan, Chaos Prepper. Well, we are the Resistance. I'm glad you got the notification as well. The Prepping Artist, hello. So, real quick, I'm going to modify some of the things I talked about or was going to talk about because John covered some things this morning because patriotic minds think alike. All right. So let's start off real quick with the tracking bill. All right. Yes, that tracking bill, the TikTok bill, that right there is going to be a big framework for the AI John was talking about. Once they legalize mass surveillance even more than they already have, then as they advance AI, they'll just incorporate that in and it will do all the tracking for them. Okay. And a lot of people don't really, they'll say, well, it'll track a little bit of this, a little bit of that, put two and two together. You got to understand when, you look at your phone, you're like, oh, well, it's supposed to be sunny by 4:00 this afternoon. That's because programs are looking at weather patterns. They're looking at all dozens of little things, the way wind's blowing, the way the humidity in the air, and they come up with a prediction that this afternoon it will be sunny by 4:00 p.m. AI will do the same thing with this tracking bill where they will look at your life, all right? Your life in microscopic detail. And it being a supercomputer, it can analyze it all like that. And it will literally be able to say, well, he should be going to Walmart this afternoon to buy milk because statistically, this is when he'll do it because he's out of milk by now. And to that level, okay, at between the hours of 1 and 2 p.m., he will be traveling down this road because it will be able to analyze everything. And believe it or not, humans are creatures of habit, all right? Given a long enough time span, we fall into repetitive behaviors, even when we try to not be repetitive. So there's that on the topic of the AI stuff. The rest of that, John pretty much covered really, really well. Oh, anybody new in the thread? Dome Seeker, there you are. Hello, good morning. Milking the cows, or are you done? You should be done by now. All right. Let's see. I've been noticing a lot of things, and I hope you like the little picture this morning. The doom. That was a salute to our friend up north. You got 24 hours to live. You better do this now. Buy my shit. But no, of course, nothing to sell here. You're all done. Good. Glad you're done milking cows. I was talking with a guy yesterday in the oil field, and yeah, I'm a little bit scroungy. It's because I just came off of 13 consecutive days out at work without leaving work. So there's that. But it seems like we're getting ready we're taking a war footing. All right. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, we'd never go to war with the big China. Well, we may. When you start thinking about the building blocks that are being put in place right now, we have new factories in this country that are starting to produce antibiotics. All right. Because we wanted to have that here. It's a big thing if you go to war with somebody who makes most of your antibiotics. It's a big problem. We're also starting to build computer processing chip plants. Big one going in right outside of Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio, which is where you would want things to be in the event of war, because you want your assets, your critical assets, closer to the center. So it's hard to hit. All right. You've got to come a long ways inland to be able to hit those things. And the third big thing that I've been noticing is refurbishing railroads. I work in very remote, very mountainous areas, a lot of old coal mining areas. All right. And I'm seeing a lot of railroads being refurbished that lead to coal mines that haven't been used in decades. All right. There's still plenty of coal there, like the strip mines in Ohio and ones in West Virginia, things like that. Not to include the underground mines, but these tracks are being relayed. All right. Brand new tracks, brand new railroad crossings. I mean, they're spending millions. Someone is spending millions of dollars to refurbish coal mine infrastructure. Why? If we're shutting down coal power plants, if we're, big war on coal, because coal, like it or not, and the people that make the powers that be, the big they that no one can seem to answer who they actually is. You know who they are. They know that coal is an engine of the war machine. All right. So I don't see them building all these different types of infrastructures for nothing. All right. Not just to be, independent, especially in a global economy. We got to be a global, world now, where everybody's blended together. No, these are things that you do when you are getting ready to batten down the damn hatches and go to war. Dynamite, good morning, buddy. How you doing? I heard that NATO voted unanimously to admit Ukraine. If true, we can then openly put boots on the ground. Oh, I like how you put openly. Good morning, Robin. How are you today? Openly, because if you don't think that there are boots on the ground, then you are naive. Yes, we have boots on the ground in Ukraine, Poland, all kinds of places. We have boots on the ground in places right now where, we always do have boots on the ground everywhere. It's just a history of history. Like, I was never in Iran. Yeah, because we're not supposed to go there. But anyway, I digress. This infrastructure being built, yeah, it's an indicator, at least for me, looking at the big picture. It's like, why are they doing these certain things that don't make sense unless they make sense from the war footing? All right. Let's go on to a new topic. And that is people who want to die on this hill. All right. I see these posts on YouTube or YouTube, Facebook, mostly Facebook. If war comes to America, will you fight? Well, war's already here. All right. Those people, they always just shake my head. That is one of the biggest pet peeves I have. If war comes to American soil, will you fight? What makes you think that you will fight then, but you won't fight now? You'll fight to keep what you don't want, but won't fight to change what you have. So, no, those people that post that typically aren't the I'm going to die on that hill type. Speaking of dying on the hill, your biggest threat, as said multiple times. So, like the other day on Prepper Nation's live stream, John, you were correct. That was sarcasm. When I say everything will be fine, the government will help you. The government will take care of it. No, your biggest threat, anyone's biggest threat, regardless of country, is their own government. That's just the way things are. That's life. That's government. Government is your biggest threat. They are the ones most likely to have someone in their employ shoot you. Okay. So these people that say, well, when they come to my house, I'll be ready for a firefight. Well, good. Be 100% ready. Have extra mags. Have mags stacked up in little pockets along the door to your house, whatever. Have kill zones, IEDs, whatever, set up in your driveway. Awesome. But don't plan to die on that hill. Please get out of that mentality. I'm going to die. I'm going to die right here on my property. It's just land. All right. It's just a house. You can rebuild a house, but not if you're dead. You can retake positions. You can retake land, but not if you're dead. Okay. Have an exit strategy, an exfil strategy. The U.S. military always has some kind of fallback plan for tactical withdrawal. All right. Retreat, whatever you want to call it. There's always a plan to, oh shit, we're being overrun. Let's get the hell out of Dodge. And then we'll come back and live to fight another day and come back and take it again. It happens all the time throughout history. Yes. So have plans. Okay. How will I get the hell out of here? If you're like that teenage or that 21-year-old airman and, 20 stormtroopers show up at your house with an armored vehicle, what do you do? All right. Figure it out. Plan now. Okay. Let me jump into chat real quick. Son-in-law in 82nd Airborne said getting deployed to Africa. Said lots of troops in Africa already and many more going. Yeah, we gave it its own command, Africon. I forget what, maybe 15 years ago. Africa's a nasty place. Papa's farm. I'm sorry to hear your son's going there. It's not a very fun place for troops to be, or anyone in general, unless you're going on safari. And even then, I wouldn't go there. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, literally. Pirate hunting in Djibouti. Djibouti. I know my buddy Dave, Trapper Dave, likes that word, Djibouti. But Africa is, And be careful what you eat. You will or could develop intestinal parasites, and that really sucks. It sucks. I won't tell you how I know, but it sucks to be dewormed like a dog. Anyway, I just saw Uncle Charlie in here. Uncle Charlie, don't bring a gun to a Tannerite fight. There you go. That's one thing, but I mean, you can make all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but Tannerite, I mean, it's good, it's cheap, get it on the fly. You just have to rig up a trigger mechanism that will actually utilize a round that travels over 2,000 feet per second to ignite it remotely. Or you could just simply shoot the shit pre-staged. Yeah, you could do that. But you're right, Uncle Charlie. Captain Coral says, Rob, do you think Russia deploying 6 fast-track nuclear subs to our west coast is related to NATO bringing in Ukraine? I think they want to be ready for anything, just like we do. I mean, come on, we grew up in the in the 80s, 90s. Well, I was growing in the 90s, but in the 80s, and we all remember like Crimson Tide, The Hunt for Red October, things like that. We've been playing cat and mouse war games with Russian subs, Soviet subs, since they've had Soviet subs, and we've had U.S. subs every year to this day. They're still out there trying to hide from each other, trying to detect each other. That's what submariners do. But yeah, it would be, I mean, if I had my own fleet of submarines, regardless of what type, and I was at war with the United States, I would have them off of both coasts. Actually, I would have them off of both coasts and possibly the Gulf of Mexico down there. That's just me, just in case, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's just leveling the playing field. We have nuclear weapons very close to their borders, so the only way they can get them close to ours is by submarine, because we don't have a bunch of little Russian satellite states around the sides of our country. We have ocean, whereas in Russia you have a bunch of U.S. satellite states, and that's what that is. That have a bunch of missiles and shit pointing that way that are very close. So yes, in a war we could hit them probably a lot faster than they could hit us, but they'll still hit us. Dynamite, was you were saying body armor doesn't really help versus flamethrower. Well, yeah. Flamethrowers would flamethrowers are fun. All right, I still have to get mine fixed up, but they are fun. I wouldn't say reliable, but they're fun. But body armor does help. It's good to have body armor, whether people think you should have it or not. It's good to have, because bullets going through you hurt a lot more than a bullet impacting a vest. Yeah, you probably end up with the wind knocked out of you. All right, feeling like you got kicked by a horse or a mule. Depending on the range and the size of the round, broken ribs, something, cracked sternum, but you're alive, and that is better than the alternative most of the time. I say most of the time because there are things that are worse than death. Let me see. Level 4 armor. YouTube keeps shadow banning Jack. Level 4 armor is excellent. However, it's typically ceramic. And ceramic armor plates expire in about half the time that steel plates do. Maybe even a quarter of the time, because steel doesn't degrade really. So as long as you keep your steel level 3A plates in a rust resistant environment, and don't go shooting them just to make sure that they're still good, then your plates will be good. But ceramic plates degrade over time. The material composition starts to break down, and they start to lose their effectiveness, and then it becomes exponentially worse as time continues. So there's that. But ultimately, they're lighter. They stop a heavier round, but they're only going to stop a few rounds before you start getting penetration. Ups and downs to both. And if you can afford to replace your ceramic plates every 5-8 years, whatever it is, whatever your plate's rated for, 10 years, then awesome. Just stick with ceramic plates. Stack them up, whatever you got to do. What do you think of face armor? Michael Holzman, how you doing? I think it would suck to be hit in the face. I'm sorry, it makes me laugh because I'm thinking of bam, like, damn, that would, yes, it would suck to be shot in the face with nothing, but still shot in the face with armor too. It still suck balls. I think it's a good idea to have. There's a, I can't think of the name. There's a helmet they make in Japan. It clamps together like front and back of your head, and that in the face. Yes, Black Cat really gay. Oh, I was going to buy one at one point in time, but they're like $3,000 for a helmet. But they're like they're next level shit. A couple special forces wore them when some of the politicians went to Afghanistan and Iraq. I can't remember the name of them, but if you Google armored helmet, high-tech armored helmet in Japan, it'll come up. But yeah, I'd want one of those because they got fans that cool your shit, and you can clip on night vision goggles, stuff like that. But they do make those Chinese face masks that just cover your face from here, to here, that look like something out of The Purge, but they're all black. And I've heard that I saw a video on YouTube where they had them on like dummies and they were shooting them, and it wasn't getting penetration, but it was putting a hell of a dent in it. And if you have a half of an inch dent in your forehead, my God, probably just the blunt force trauma to your brain rattling around inside your skull, or that piece of bone that cracked off and went into your frontal lobe would be enough to jack you the hell up. You can't approve messages again. Oh, you gotta love the algorithm. So they're probably getting ready to kill the feed. But if they do, we'll come back. Let me see, Dome Seeker. What's Dome Seeker? Let me check here. Don't Zigger. What are you doing here? No, I don't want to remove as a managing moderator. No, leave her alone. Well, that's YouTube. I didn't see. Let me see if I can see anything that was blocked. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm scrolling up through the feed. You see that it's not showing me either. So it must have been something that they really didn't want anybody to see. Because I don't even, normally I'll see something on my end that says, blocked, waiting for approval. But it must be whatever the comment was, whoever made a comment that didn't pop up here, it's because they, the big they, don't want you to see it. You're welcome, Michael. That was a good one. That was a good topic off my talking list. But yeah, I couldn't imagine how bad that would hurt. I mean, just your quarter-inch dent in your cheekbone. Oh man, shatter your face. God, that would suck. Sometimes it might actually be better to just take a round through the dome and call it a day on that one. But okay. So yeah, have a plan. Don't die on that hill. Yes, YouTube treating us like children. No, Window Liquor, YouTube is treating us like potential threats. All right. Potential insurgents, domestic extremists. And if the shoe fits, I'll wear the shit out of it. Okay. But I didn't do it. They did it. All right. So there's that. Yeah. Michael Holzman, you could do some modifications. War with the big C, China. What would that be like? Probably like any other war up until the shit went nuclear or EMP. But as far as home would be on the home front, one of the things that concerns me, and as you know, I've got little yellow children, is that we have our government, not we, but our government has a nasty habit of rounding up groups of people that look like the groups of people that the government is currently fighting. I mean, you saw it as far back as the native tribes. You saw it with the Japanese in World War II. There were even some instances of it post 9/11 with anybody that was brown and spoke Arabic. So when it comes to war with China, pretty much, in the words of my mother, when I told her, God rest her soul, when I told her she wasn't going to be happy about my baby's mom, and she said, "What is she?" And I said, "Thai." And she said, "What's that?" I said, "Asian." She says, "Chinese." I said, "No." She said, "They're all the fucking same." That's what God rest her soul. She loved her grandbabies though. But that's how the government will probably look at it. You kind of look Chinese. You might need to come over here. All right. So, yeah, just like every war. Yeah, my sweet mama, she loved her grandbabies, but was not happy because she was from the backwoods of West Virginia, grew up in a log cabin with no running water and an outside shitter. So when her baby boy comes back with an Oriental, in her term, wife, she wasn't happy. But yeah, they could start rounding up Asians again. All right. I personally would have a problem with that. Yeah, baby sharks. But not only that, is I have friends in the Asian community. All right. My kids are like, "Can we go to Aunt Nikki's?" Aunt Nikki is a Chinese lady who runs a Chinese restaurant. We'll have to do some Underground Railroad type bullshit to hide people if they start doing that. All right. So think about these things now and prepare. Window Liquor Prepper says, my 13-year-old is building a AR-10 for his birthday this weekend, 80% lower, teach them young. That's right. But that is a hefty piece of equipment. Yes, AR-10s are, just when you load them, they're heavier than AR-15 just because of the rounds. But yeah, that's a decent piece of equipment. I like it. Yes, YouTube keep shadow banning Jack. I get it, Jack. I get it, Jack. See, got a mouth granny, kind of like my parents when I married a black man. There you go. But times have changed. But this is the most racist country in the world. Yes, we oppress everybody. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I can't wait to have my buddy Justin on. I'm going to do a stream here in the future with my buddy Justin. We grew up together. Justin is not Caucasian, okay? And we're just going to discuss race and politics in America. So it should be entertaining. And hi, Justin. You're probably watching this because he always watches this shit. Leverage technology before technology leverages you. Honestly, I will, as far as technology, the only technology I will leverage is mechanical or the stuff that, like body armor. All right. It's not technologically savvy. It's not, like a phone or surveillance cameras and stuff like that. I will, in the event of any major societal shift, go as low tech as possible. Because, and let me just say, I was listening to a certain Barry guy the other day talking about on his Independence channel. And I normally like what he has to say. I like what he does for people and for kids and helping kids. But he's a little bit delusional when it comes to like war with Russia or things like that. And I'll get back on topic in a second. But people say Russia's doing a horrible job in Ukraine. A horrible job. Based off of what? Based off of our dramatic success in Afghanistan? Because we pretty much had our asses handed to us by some hillbillies with RPGs and AK-47s. Okay? So right now, Russia, and we were there for 20 years. Right now, Russia is fighting a standard army that has the full support of NATO and the United States government. And they're not making as drastic of advances as the U.S. military did in Afghanistan or in Iraq. No, they're not. The Russians are not. But they're also not carpet bombing like we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're not leveling villages. They're not just creating chaos and mayhem, destroying infrastructure. They're actually being fairly precise because they don't want to destroy Ukraine. They want to take Ukraine. So, of course, this slows the roll a little bit. Yes, if they wanted to just flatten Ukraine, the Red Army could just roll and destroy everything in its path. Just fucking gone. But they don't want that, all right? Because they want them, pull them into the fold. We went into Afghanistan like, we're just going to fucking blow up everything, kill everybody, yeehaw, and that's why we made such rapid progression. Iraq, same way. Operation Shock and Awe, blowing up bridges and all kinds of shit, bringing down the electrical infrastructure, collapsing their currency, all kinds of shit. Yeah, it's two different types of war. One is we don't give a shit, and the other one is they're like, oh, we kind of want to keep this shit as much intact because the less we destroy now, the less we have to rebuild later. And so there's that. So you gotta make sure you're looking at things logically. All right. Now, if Russians came here, would they have the same strategy as they're having in Ukraine? Oh no. Would the Chinese have here the same strategy they would have in Taiwan? Oh no. Because all they need is if they want anything at all, is farmland. And you know what? You could bomb a building and scrape the shit out the way with a bulldozer and plant seeds in the ground. So if Russian or Chinese forces ever step foot on U.S. soil, it's going to be next level type of bad for both sides. All right. Because we're going to be like, not today, slick. And they're going to be like, we don't give a shit. Just carpet bomb everything. Yeah. if they haven't taken it to the next level first. All right. So we covered that. I got a little list over here I'm looking at. Covered that. Everybody's worried about, well, we need to change the laws in this country. We need to take our country back. No one is going to give you your country back. No politician is going to give you your country back. It's not going to happen. Why? Because if they make one law that is clearly unconstitutional, a flagrant violation of your civil rights, it will take you years and a lot of money to get that pushed so far up their system to the Supreme Court, where it might be found unconstitutional if the politics of the day don't want to just push it, say it's okay anyway. All right. It will take years and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, for you to get that one law repealed. And in that process, they can crank out thousands of laws per year. Yeah. So they can crank them out 100-fold faster than you could ever even fight one. So it's not going to happen. How do you get your country back? You have to fight fire with fire. That's what the Afghans showed us. You have to literally fight fire with fire, or fear with fear. All right. Now remember, again, this is just theoretical. This is art. This is fiction. So there's that disclaimer. Like the parents that are afraid that they'll get arrested if they speak out against the LGBTQZ, whatever the hell community at their school boards. You're afraid of that? Make them afraid to be there. How do you do that? Figure it out. Takes you to the next level. Right? You don't like them having trans drag shows for kids at this place. Well, God forbid if that place burnt to the ground. Nobody, well, shit, they had a trans drag show for kids there 2 days ago, and the place just happened to burn to the ground. Guess what? The next place who they say, can we have a trans drag show in your building? They're going to say, no, not my building. Not here, Slick. You did it over there, and that shit burned down. I ain't fucking with you. Fight fear with fear. Whatever it takes. Oh, no, it's buffering. Yeah, it's buffering. Of course it is. They don't want you to hear that. Can you hear me now? Give me a 5x5 or a thumbs up. Oh, I think they just killed the live stream. 100%. I'm seeing hundreds come up. I'm not seeing anything else. Do you got me? Oh, yeah, I guarantee I am. YouTube keeps shadow banning Jack. Outlaw Farm 5x5. I said fight fear with fear. If I hold a gun show in that building over there, and then somebody says we don't want you to have gun shows in that building over there, and I say I'm going to have it anyway, and the guy who has the building says no, we're going to have it here because we think that he has the right to have a gun show here, and somebody burns that building down, I'm going to be bummed out because I can't have my gun show. And the next person I ask if I can have a gun show, there's probably going to tell me, no, you cannot have a gun show here because some fucking crazy people will burn my building to the ground. I'm just hypothetically just saying. Did y'all catch that? Five by five. Did you understand did you understand the meaning behind the meaning? All right. You got it. Good. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because it was talked about this morning. It's been talked about a lot lately, and I've been seeing it, is Chris Slam Some people say that. Some say Chrislam. Some are now referring to that as a potential one world religion. No. What I believe you're seeing is the big they, trying to push fear. All right. Because all that Chrislam is, and I've looked into this, is that somebody has, not somebody, lots of people actually, especially in Africa, I believe is where it first started up. You had Christian populations and Muslim populations. That was a lot of this. The genocides and civil wars in Africa are based off of that. And then some people started looking and saying, well, in Islam, it says you're supposed to believe in Jesus and you're supposed to know about Noah and Moses and all the apostles and stuff like that. And so it tells you that you need to read the New Testament. It says that. Okay. And so they were like, well, okay, well, if this book tells me I need to know about this book, then I need to read this book. And then someone was smart enough to go, well, this book is a kind of a part of this book, although they're separate. And they just decided, well, I'm going to study both of them, because although the New Testament and Old Testament doesn't say go read this book that hasn't been created yet, the book that came along after says you need to read this book. David Nicholas, I don't even know what he was in here saying. I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious. 1 second. I don't even know what that is. Okay. But anyway, I won't have right now, as of right now, I don't have a problem with anyone who practices Chrislam, because it's basically you're studying the Bible and you're studying the Quran, either of which are based off of Abrahamic teachings. I don't care if you study the Torah, based off of Abrahamic teachings, the Abrahamic faith. So that's not what I'm worried about. But the powers that be will use every opportunity to be like, they're bad or they're evil. What they really don't want is things like Chrislam actually happening, which I don't even like that name because it's weird. But they do not want people of the Jewish faith, people of the Christian faith, and people of the Islamic faith, which are all they are the three Abrahamic religions. They do not want them working together because they have such similar faith. The only thing that's different are small details in each one. Small details. Like in Judaism, they don't believe that Jesus was the prophet or was the savior. All right, the Messiah. And in Islam, they say Jesus was divinely created by God in a Virgin Mary to spread all the knowledge of God and teachings to mankind. So they believe that he's a prophet. They don't believe in him at all. And these guys follow these guys' teachings. And these guys follow these guys' teachings. So they're so close. And there's just small differences, but they don't want those three coming together, because if the three largest global religions, which are very similar, come together, oh, it'd be bad for their agenda. It'd be real bad for their agenda. Just saying. Oh, Black Cat, that was okay. That was me. I'm just looking in the thread here. All right. Well, I think I've wasted enough of your time. I will be doing a live stream sometime in the near future on marauding. Hello, Big German. How you been? Long time. Haven't seen you in a while. Of course, I haven't been here in a while. I guess that's my fault mostly. I want to do a video live stream with you guys on just about marauding. All right. because you'll hear on a lot of other people's channels, prepping outside the box and Just Josh and something. They'll talk about, well, in the beginning, you might have to do a little bit of, marauding. One man's, marauder is another man's, soldier, whatever. All you might as well have some ideas on how to maraud efficiently. All right, because it's probably true. You would need to maraud. I mean, if me and my crew goes up and post EMP and snatch 6 or 8 semi trucks full of food from the Walmart distribution center, in theory, that's technically marauding. So there's that, but it's just on next level marauding. If you research the Catholic religion, it has roots in sun god worship. Yeah, absolutely. It has roots in almost every pagan religion. I mean, look at Easter. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, look at when we actually celebrate Christmas, the time of year that they celebrate Christmas. There's a reason it's celebrated then. It wasn't because Jesus was born in December. We all know this. All right. Have a good night or have a good day. Go out there, have fun, do something productive, and enjoy your loved ones. And to my baby sharks, I'll see you here in a little bit. They loves you guys. All right. Have a good night. Good day. God bless. I'm out.